Healthcare components in yoga therapy. Most of the middle class people and the lower middle class people are now looking at the government for the cheap healthcare methods because the corporate sector and the hospitals have totally increased the cost of the healthcare, and as a result it is beyond the reach of an ordinary person. In such a situation, the government has identified some alternative therapies for the promotion of the healthcare. The concept of healthcare is applicable not only to the personal health but also to the public health also. In terms of yoga therapy, the health and ill health are two dimensions of the consciousness. The same consciousness which is functioning as the thought, the same consciousness which is functioning as the health, is also functioning as the ill health. In such a situation, the concept of understanding the consciousness as ill health or ill health as consciousness is very, very important. In the classical texts of yoga, two references have been made. One is called as Vyadhi. Vyadhi means which is V plus A plus Dhi, wherein V means which is a modification of A means integral, Dhi means mind. When the mind is integrally modified into a disadvantageous situation, it is called as Vyadhi. The Vyadhi concept has been thoroughly discussed in Yoga Vasishta, and they have identified the Vyadhis as Sara and Samanya. Sara means complex, Samanya means simple. So the complex Vyadhis are the diseases, and the simple Vyadhis are diseases. They can be adjusted in the yogic method. And also, Hatha Yoga Pradipika also gives a clear indication about the concept of Arogya. The concept of Arogya means health or well being. It does not mean healthy well being. It is an integral concept of asanas which will be providing us the idea of what is called as Arogya. This is what is told in Hatha Yoga Pradipika. But both these yoga texts, they are not referring to the causes of the diseases or the cure of the diseases. But most of the present day yoga therapists are trying to make use the yoga instructions and also the yoga methods for the reducing of the pain of the disease and also to maintain the proper health care. Actually, the health care is very much needed in all the ages, whether they are pregnant or immediately delivered or neonatal stage or infancy or childhood or youth or geriatry. In different stages we are having the attention of the concept of well-being. That well-being is very, very important because it is the major role which is playing a vital concept in maintaining and determining the concept of the personal health and public health. Here, we have to identify some of the important pathogenic factors. There are five important pathogenic factors. One is the time. The time itself is changing in the seasons. There are different seasons like autumn, summer, rainy season, winter. All the seasons are the main reason for the emergence of what is called as disease, which is a disadvantageous situation. The second one is what is called as the environment. The environmental situation or the environmental pollution is the second reason for the pathogenesis in the yogic medium. The third one is the sperm and the ovum. The embryo is formed or the zygote is formed due to the union of the sperm and the ovum. So this idea will be providing a very clear-cut picture for the transferring of the endemic diseases and also which are recurring and they are conjugal and those particular things are congenital diseases. They are all due to the impurities in the sperm and ovum. The fourth one, which is more important of the pathogenic factors, is the air. The air is the basic pathogenic factor. In such a situation, the inhalation and the exhalation and the pressure force of the air, suppressive pressure force, surrounding pressure force, and suppressive surrounding pressure force, and also the organ specific identity of the flow of the air and the problems in the respiratory system, they are all basically due to the management of the air. And the fifth one is called as the food. So the food is the intake which will be making a physical body to grow. It is vital with so many nutrients, micronutrients and trace elements, and they have developed a good science, what is called as the nutrition science, for the maintenance of the physical body. Now the question is how we have to identify these particular aspects in the pathogenic factor of the healthcare. Commonly, there are five factors which are very much influenced. One is called as the muscles, the second is called as the energy, the third one is called as the immunity, the fourth one is called as the longevity, and the fifth one is called as the pressure. So, in order to maintain these particular five, one is muscles, the second is pressure, the third one is energy, the fourth one is longevity, the fifth one is immunity. For all these things, we have to follow five basic yoga methods. The muscles are controlled through the asanas. The energy is controlled through pranayama, or the pressure is controlled through pranayama. The energy is controlled through what is called as non-violence, and the immunity and longevity are promoted to silence and meditation. These five are considered to be the five yogangas, which will be influencing the five aspects which shall be properly administered, and they are the muscular administration, the pressure administration, the energy administration, the longevity administration, and the immunity administration. If we properly concentrate on these five factors, by using these five, respectively, what is called as the asanas for the muscles, and the pranayama for the pressure, and the non-violence for the energy, and silence for the immunity, and meditation for longevity. If we use these particular things, then it will be of more proper use to identify. And at present, most of the physicians who are following the Western methods, they are ignoring the role of the air. And air is the basic component which can go out and which can get in. The body simply screens a problem. Actually, the body cannot create a problem. What are the biochemical changes that are taking place? What are the biochemical disorders that are taking place within the human body? They are simply the resultant aspects of the radiant forces through the environment and air, and those radiant forces will be stimulating the physical mass, and as a result there will be a refractive dimension which will be resulting in the failure of the health, and there the concept of healthcare must be taken into consideration, and the government and the individuals must be careful of these particular factors, that they require proper exercise of the mind, exercise to the body. This exercise to the body is managed differently by fitness methods and also the other methods which are promoted through physical education. But actually, in terms of yoga, the concept of managing the body through an asana, mudra, and pranayama, it will be contributing for the management of the what is called as exercise. It is a proper exercise. And then exercise of the mind can be done through what is called as memorizing, recollecting, and going into the concept of silence and not having what is called as any type of thoughts. That is what is called as an amanaska state. Actually, it is very difficult to reach the amanaska state because as long as the human being is alive, he will be having the thoughts. What, what we have to do is we have to reduce the degree of thoughts, the cycling of thoughts from the beta level to alpha level to theta level to delta level. We have to reduce the circulation of the thoughts. This is done through the methods like meditation and also silence. These are very important, and most of the people are doing another mistake. That is regarding the food intake and the air intake. The people are not at all taking care at all because the food intake must be proper, it must be integral, it must be timely, it must be limited. The limited method shall be properly followed. The nature has prescribed a nature of food to every living being. So, a living being must not transgress the rules laid down by the law. It is not our interest that we have to eat. It is the interest of the nature that it has to feed all the living beings, 84 lakhs living beings. So each living being is having certain product from the nature and it has to consume that product and be careful, helpful, and healthy. So that particular situation should be properly practiced. And secondly, the air is the most important concept because it is the major reason for any disease or any cure also. For example, the blood circulation, the air circulation, the activity of the endocrinal system, the functioning of the nervous system, they are all controlled through only the air. The five airs, what we have mentioned, prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana, they will be playing a very vital role in dealing with the energy, consciousness, space. So, when this particular energy, consciousness, and space are properly organized in a particular given mass, then there will be a healthy and advantageous situation of what is called as health. So, that particular health should be properly identified at the personal level, and that is why the intake of the food and at the same time the proper exercise and the intake of the air, these three are very, very important. And besides, two more things are very much important. One is what is called as the nature of rest, what an individual is having. That may be sleep, or that may be a dalliance, or whatever it may be. He has to rest himself. So that resting should not be an arrest. And that rest will be properly providing him a way of physical relaxation. And in a sexual intercourse, generally 25 varieties of asanas, mudras, and bandhas are practiced. And they will be accelerating and radiating the sensitive zones of the body. And as a result, the body will be providing a proper discharge of all the systems, hormones, enzymes, and others. As a result, the body will be healthy. Another important dimension can be found in what is called as relaxation. A simple relaxation without any thought, without any prayer, without any word is considered to be very, very important and significant. And these should be properly identified as the methods of healthcare, and it will be useful to everyone and all. It is a cheap medicine. It is a cheap medicine, a powerful medicine, at the same time a timely medicine. It will be controlling the body, the mind, the consciousness. It will be establishing the equilibrium between the mass, the energy, and the space. So, this concept is very important and significant. It must be taken into consideration as the guidelines for the healthcare of the common man. So, the guidelines for the healthcare of the common man in yoga therapy are considered to be very, very important. and they can be followed very easily and regularly. A regularity in the practice, it is called as Drodha Bhumi. At the same time, at the same point, is considered to be very important. And that Drodha Bhumi will be making the Vyadhi eliminated and arogya established and immunity promoted and longevity extended, the pressure reduced, the energy increased. This is the system of the yoga therapy.